Mud racing get down and dirtier as they kick up the dust at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. We'll see who has their sights set on victory coming up next. This is Trucks and Tractor Power featuring the All-Stars of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Fall Nationals. Welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. Today we're at the Indiana State Fairgrounds in Indianapolis for the 10th annual four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Fall Nationals. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Lee alongside Army Armstrong. And Army, a unique aspect of this show is the fact that many of the spectators are also participants. They come out with their 4x4s for the show and shine competition.
That's exactly right, Gary. Really, the registration of this event is over 3,000 vehicles. Now, these people are coming to look at some of the mud monster competition, all that stuff, but also they kind of have their own world. It's called show and shine. Gives you a chance to kind of show your truck off a little bit. But when you're not showing your truck off, you go to the grandstands and you watch the guys that don't care about chrome and candy apple. You see the guys that just flat want to go fast. They're going to get down and get dirty and get quick here this afternoon.
Side-by-side mud bog competition from Indianapolis coming up next. It is indeed a beautiful fall day here at the Indiana State Fairgrounds in Indianapolis. Hi, everybody. Gary Lee alongside Army Armstrong for mud bog competition in twin mud pits. Look at them. Right there they are. This is the Class 6 Open Unlimited. They use superchargers or nitrous oxide, cut and paddle tires, the mud pit 200 feet in length. And now with more information on this side-by-side mud racing competition, here's Army Armstrong.
Gary, one thing you have to remember in this sport now, even though they're running side by side, they're trying to leave at the same time. That's up to the driver. Who they're really racing is not the guy next to you, the clock.
That's why sometimes, Army, will see a driver leave. The other driver kind of waits for a while. But again, it's a race against the clock. Ray Wells coming up first out of Holland, Michigan in light flight. And there is Ron Smith in Gold Fever.
Ron Smith will be in a far lane with a 48 Fiat. These body styles were very popular a few years ago in the sport of drag racing, but they're working their way into the sport of professional mud racing now. Fiat out first, 23 going after him, trying to pull him on a big end.
Oh, look at that 23. Look at Ray Wells. Ray Wells, what a great ride.
I am impressed. He let him leave and then reeled him in big time.
322 for Ray Wells, and there is 387, and that is the time for Gold Fever. Look, once again, Gold Fever is away, and here comes Ray Wells, and he cuts him down at the finish line.
Well, he pulled him on the big end of that track.
Ray Wells is indeed the man to beat as Ron Smith climbs out. Let's go visit with Ray Wells.
I'm standing with Ray Wells right now. Ray, drawing #1 in this sport can be awfully important, can it?
Yes, providing the pit is in, good shape. You got a good launch pad.
Looked like a pool table out there you were running on.
It was nice and smooth. Yeah, no doubt about that.
You're sitting on top. Everybody's coming after. You think you can hang on to it?
I don't know. Our car's getting a little weak. It's been a long season. Hopefully. I don't know.
We're going to watch you do, too. See you later.
Okay, thanks.
Well, we should have a measure of just how fast he is momentarily, because there is Tony Farrell in the Blue Ribbon Bandit. And alongside will be Ron Pence in Tater. Ron Pence, always one of the fastest drivers in this competition. So we'll just see how fast old Ray Wells can hold up here. The time to beat once again is 3:22. But look at Tater in the near lane.
Wow.
Look at the horsepower.
Man, the top end in that left lane is just awesome, Gary. They're just like picking up another 100 horsepower and driving out the other end of the track.
316. Ron Pence at 316. That is the new #1 time. And look at this. No, 315. Tony Farrell. We had our eyes on Ron Pence, but Tony Farrell with a 315.
And Tony banged the wall at about the 180-foot mark. I cannot believe the action in these events.
Well, Tony Farrell is the guy to beat. He's with Army.
Tony, a 315. You use a Chrysler horsepower. You're showing you guys can get up and run with these Chevrolets and Fords.
Yeah, I kind of had to back off of it. We got in the wall a little bit, and just as soon as go out of bounds, I just let off of it and got back in it. Maybe I could have done better. Maybe I couldn't have.
Do you think that time can hold up? All the rest of the drivers, they kind of shook their head when you made a pass through like that. Could be the good number today.
Well, I don't know. We drove a good number. We was third in the hoe. We did some changing on the car last night, and I hope we got the bugs worked out of it. She's really sprung today, and I'm happy with it.
Well, let's take a seat and see if it holds up for you.
All right, thank you.
I can assure you there are shock waves here at the State Fairgrounds. Anytime you can best Ron Pence, you've done something. And Tim Pearson now coming up next. He is driving Purple Passion. And there's a look at S Kicker. This is Jeremy Finley. Oh, they have their work cut out for them. A 3.15.
Finley comes over from Virginia. Finley started the event with the top on the car, but they decided to go ahead and cut the top off. They said, man, I want to be able to see. Whoa, we got problems now on the other end.
Hang on, and Jeremy gets it stopped before he collects one of those barricades down there.
Check the time, Gary.
2.97.
That's an awful shot, but the other lane went at 3.93, Gary. That was a rocket ride for both of them.
Well, there's your new leader, the man to beat, Jeremy Finley at 2.97. This is how he did it. Now, as you mentioned earlier, they chopped the top off this car, cut the top off to enhance the visibility. Look at him fight the steering wheel as he drives to a 2.97 and slides to a stop. He's trackside with Army Armstrong.
But Jeremy Finley's literally got the crowd on their feet. You bumped the magic 2-second barrier. How'd that feel out there to you?
It felt like a good run. I was happy with it.
How do you know when to leave? It's up to you, the driver. The light's already green, but when do you know it's right to go?
When everything feels ready to go.
You get froggy, you just jump, huh?
Yeah. I was sort of waiting for the other guy, but he didn't want to go.
You're jumping good today. Let's see if that holds out for you.
All right, appreciate it.
All he can do now is wait and watch, and look at this boat. That's the Mad Mud Demon, Greg Sharp. I don't know what kind of boat that is, except for a fishing boat, but it's certainly out of the water here. And there is a look at a Jeep of Stanley Trimble. That's Radical out of Jeffersonville, Kentucky. Stanley is the teacher, and this was a class project.
Yeah, the word we get is a class project, and all the youngsters are pulling for him. But right now, they better pull hard. At 297 is going to be a tough number. Well, Stanley leads good.
He has some rough sailing at the end of that 200 feet of mud at a 4:21. And there's the boat time of 4:80. I love the looks of that contraption. Let's take another look at Stanley.
This is America, and if you're mud racing, you can run what you darn well please,
That's
Gary.
right.
That's what's so unique about this sport. Boy, Stanley kissing that wall all the way down, making horsepower.
Well, now we take a look at one of the crowd favorites anywhere he runs. This is Instant T. This vehicle comes out of Ohio. This is Chad Miller from Vandalia, Ohio, near Dayton. And he will pull alongside Joe Dorr in the Instigator Racing Team entry.
Chad Miller in the sport has taken some of the wildest rides I've ever seen in my life. When this kid goes to the starting line, I'll put the microphone down and walk over and watch him, and that's where I'm going right now.
Don't you go anywhere. Stay right here and watch this race on the TV monitor. Well, he's not going anywhere anyway.
Picking the mic back up, Gary. Picking the mic back up.
Chad Miller with a problem right off the starting line, and Joe Dorr completes the run at 5.06. A 1967 Chevy, and there is a look at Instant T. He broke something.
But right now you find out who your friends really are, because somebody's got to go out there and hook that guy up.
No one's running up to him right now.
Not moi, I'll tell you that.
A big DNF for Chad Miller as we take a look at the current standings. Jeremy Finley with that sizzling run of 2.97 in the S Kicker. Tony Farrell next at 3:15. Then it's Ron Pence at 3:16 in Tater. Well, the action continues here. The double mud bogs at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. There's a look at Charles Durbin as he secures the Simpson driving gloves. He'll be on board the Axle Breaker 3 out of New Albany, Indiana. He's coming up next to take on Frank Lowry as the action continues from Indianapolis. Stay with us. And welcome back to the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Fall Nationals at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Gary Lee alongside Army Armstrong. It is a beautiful autumn day here in the capital of auto racing, Indianapolis.
Yes, Gary, it is a beautiful day, but somebody does have a raincoat on. The starting lineup, man, at this event. We're pulling bonkers into the lane now.
That's Frank Lowry out of Miland, Ohio in Bonkers. That is a S10 Chevrolet. And there is another look at Charles Durbin. We saw the backside of that vehicle pulling away from us earlier. There's the front of the Axle Breaker 3. He is out of New Albany, Indiana, the southern part of the Hoosier State. Bonkers leaves first. Here comes Durbin.
They're running a car. Durbin's in trouble on the big end, Gary. Oh, he barely pulled that back in.
Well, he had to hold his breath. I thought he was going to tip that thing on over the little Tommy tip over there at the end of the lane.
Now, you got to remember, again, they're running against the clock. Even though there's 2 lanes, the guy next to you is not important. 5:17 recorded by Bonkers is the record we get.
9:22 for Charles Durbin. So we'll take a look again. Durbin was late in leaving. They're running against the clock. Lowery bumps and bangs his way through 200 feet of mud.
Okay, then Durbin, what he did is Lowery goes through, his door comes open, but Durbin actually slid through the finish line. That's where he scruffed off all that time.
Army, I think he may have rolled forward to trip that starting light to begin with before he really nailed the hammer. Very slow run. As we take a look at the Budweiser King, here is Jeff Corbett. That is a fiberglass Jeep body on this racer from New Albany, Indiana. He will pull alongside Bad to the Bone. He'll race John Herzog. John out of Garlanville, Illinois.
Hey, Jeff out of New Albany has to have some kamikaze blood in him. I've seen him race before. Boy, he'll light your wick quick. You got to go quicker than a 297. Let's see what's going to happen. There he goes.
Well, he has some trouble down at the end of the run. Backs out of it. Not a very good run for Jeff. Not a very good run for John. There's John at 4.69 and Bad to the Bone. And there's a 3.94 for Jeff. Not all that bad, but it looked like he backed out of it. Watch the end of the run. He's getting some trouble right here. Bangs off the wall and then backs out of it.
Okay, yeah, I think he lost a cylinder on the range. See a lot of plume of white smoke come out of the right side of the engine, but you know, no loss, no gain. But I know he was expecting better than that.
Where are all the crew members? He's standing there by himself. He has to clean that vehicle up. There's the agitator. There is Troy Bandy. He hails from Springfield, Illinois, about a 3.5-hour drive from here in Indianapolis.
Well, sitting in the other lanes, another line. He's out of Galesburg, Illinois. That'll be Michael Garrett.
Mike is driving a 1946 Willys.
Goes by the name of the Equalizer. Now, we say it's a 46 Willys, but, you know, being honest with the folks, it's a fiberglass replica of a 46 Willys. You know, weight's so important in motorsports, so everybody comes back with a fiberglass body. Hey, this Galesburg guy's impressing me.
Well, he trips the light with a good ride in that far lane. And let's check the time. 4:05. And now we wait for time for Troy Bandy, and that's a 6:60 for the agitator.
That's not going to affect our top 5 at all right now, will it, Gary?
Well, it looks like the guys that went early really had the luck of the draw as they're really churning up the mud here. And it's very difficult for these guys to get the horsepower and get up on top of the mud where they really want to be.
That's the trick in this sport right now. The Team Rancho vehicle comes out. It's a full-bodied funny car, okay? He's in one lane, but who's he going to draw? One of the bad boys of the sport, Bud Thompson out of Niles, Michigan, in the other lane. This could be a Donnybrook right here, an old-time street fight, if you will.
The Time Traveler, one of the most famous vehicles in this type of motorsport. But look at this full-bodied car. Oh, he blew up.
He flared something right at about the 180
but
foot
look
mark.
at the Time Traveler. He's bogged down for sure, but he's making a valiant effort to get out of that mud pit. Something happened early on. He turns in 11:10, but something happened early in the run, but he was determined to finish the run. There's a 3:75, and that is for Mark WATROS.
If he had a big flame at about the 180 foot mark, the replay will show you. Look at the bottom.
About right here, Army, watch. There's the flame right there. That could be an expensive pass for Mark out of Lansing, Michigan. So he's had a chance to survey the damage. Let's go trackside with Army and Mark.
Gary, we're down in the pit area. One of the most popular drivers in the sport, that being the driver of the Team Rancho Thunderbird. You're giving away a lot of weight to these guys, it looks like, but you can still run right up on top with them.
Yeah, we try and apply more horsepower to it. It seems to work pretty well. It's just keeping the big motors together, of course. We drawed a late number today. We like to try and keep it early, like in the 5s, but the sun dried it out pretty good. It hooked good. We leaned it up quite a bit with the sun. It leaned up a little more than we wanted to, so I think we ran a little bit too lean today. Could have got a little more power out of it.
I'll tell you what, you impressed a lot of people. We're glad to have you with us.
Well, it's fun running with you guys.
Well, now the fans have been waiting for this matchup. There is the mud stud. That is Bob Monk out of Merrill, Michigan. And the guy he pulls alongside is one of the kingpins in this sport, and that is Tom Meeks right there in Shake Me. He is one of the giants.
The reason Meeks is always such a player, he leans on his equipment so hard. I mean, he shows no mercy. When that light goes green, he goes 101%.
It may take 120% today to beat that. Oh, he has a problem. He leaned on the equipment, all right.
Yeah, but a Mudstut had a good run going.
3.58, a 3.58, almost a second slower.
A little bit of a fire.
Yeah, that's an alky fire burning right there. You can see the heat waves. Remember, alcohol burns without the flame. They need to get a fire bottle down there. Now you can see some oil or some wiring or something that is on fire. You can see the flame, but the alcohol does burn without the flame.
Now, this camera crew gave a perfect example right there of showing people how careful you have to be with an alcohol fire.
Well, Tom is okay, but once again, just past the starting line, he bangs a blower. The car erupts in alcohol flames. The fire crew was there to put it out, and again, Tom is okay. Thankfully, he has walked over to our trackside announce position, and he's standing down there with Army now.
One of the major players in the sport, Tom Mintz. Thomas, as soon as you hit the throttle, it's just like blowing a candle out.
Yeah, as soon as I went for kill, it just didn't go nowhere, and the whole top of the motor blew off.
Okay, now, you were sitting there for a moment. You knew the vehicle was on fire. The track crew couldn't see it. These alcohol vehicles, when they catch on fire like that, are you okay? I don't see any singe marks or anything.
Yeah, I was fine. I just seen it was still burning from my view, but I don't think anybody else could tell it was burning.
We could once you came out. We're glad you're okay. We'll see you another time.
Thank you.
Still able to smile after a close call like that with the alcohol fire, and also some major damage to the engine, but the current standings still show Jeremy Finley on top at 297, then Tony Farrell at 315, and Ron Pence is third in Tater at 316. We still have two more combatants to go to see if they can knock Jeremy Finley off the top of the heap, and there is a look at Shake Me on the hook, headed back to the paddock area. Back at the Indiana State Fairgrounds, where the four-wheel and off-road jamboree offers a host of activities, not only for the truck fan, but also the entire family as well. To find out more, call or write the Special Events Promotion Company. Only two more combatants now with a chance to knock Jeremy Finley off the top of the heap. His sizzling run at 2.97. He's standing by with Army.
Gary, right now we're standing with a guy that's literally sitting on the bubble of this thing. Jeremy Finley, you think it's going to hold out for you today?
I hope so. Shaking was about the fastest one I had to deal with.
Yeah, everybody else was frowning, but you were sitting over with a big grin on your face when he had problems. Let's see if your time will hold up for you.
Yeah, I don't like nobody that had no problems. I'd rather beat them racing through the pit. You know how that is.
Well, two more combatants. Jeff Ballard in the Pork Brothers Express out of Mount Sterling, Kentucky will be one. And there's Dragonfly, and this is Ted Horvath.
Now, Jeff's experimenting with a new chassis design. I kind of like it. It's an underslung design. They're still trying to get it figured out. They've got it to handle real good in the pit. Coming out of the pits where he seemed to have some problems.
But once he gets up on top,
yeah,
that
he's
mud.
a player. He's a goer. But when it comes out of the pits, when they seem to have the chassis unloads or something. Ooh, see what I mean?
About mid-range, though. He gets on top of that mud. He wings the throttle right there to get out of trouble. But 3.12, a good ride, a very good ride at 3.12, but not fast enough. And there's the 3.69 for Tad, and that means that Jeremy Finley will be our champion here at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. One more look, but about there, mid-range.
It picks up and goes, but watch it right here. The track's only 200 feet long. He must have gone 800 feet.
But Army only the first 200 feet count. And Ballard with a good ride. In fact, he is second fast now overall this afternoon. He's winging the throttle right now, trying to get that thing under control. Jeff's with Army.
Gary, we're standing with Jeff Ballard, driver of the Pork Brothers vehicle, who drew the very bottom of the field, but wound up second. That's not a bad shot at all this afternoon.
It felt real good, but we broke the front end. Probably could have done a little bit better if it hadn't broke, but can't complain.
What about the underslung chassis? Everybody says it won't work, you drag in the mud. Well, you just showed that it does work, but you got to get on top, don't you?
That's the idea. You got to get up on top of it.
Well, Jeff, you did a good job.
Thank you, Army.
The last to run, he finishes second. Now the final standings again showing Jeremy Finley on top at 2.97 in the S-Kicker. Jeff Ballard then is second at 3.12 in the Pork Brothers Express, and Tony Farrell is third at 3.15. And here's your winner with Army Armstrong.
Gary, we're standing with a guy that all day long was literally on pins and needles. He went out early, set the quick time, and had to sit there and watch these guys take shots at you all day long. Some of the heat was in the back of the field, but you held on for the win. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. We did it with a lot of help from my brother and my sponsors, KCD chassis and DGI engines.
I'll tell you what, you guys are definitely making the horsepower. You're making it stick, and these people in Indiana are loving every second of it.
Yeah, we try to put on a good show wherever we go.
That you do. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And again, our congratulations to Jeremy Finley. So that will wrap it up from the Indiana State Fairgrounds here in Indianapolis. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to be with us again next week for another edition of Trucks and Tractor Power.